Um, I went to more groups again yesterday. I'm going back to my old entries. So, this journal entry is January, February, March. March 24th. So, quite a while ago. And it might take me a minute to remember exactly what I was writing about and what was happening. So I'm just gonna start reading. Yesterday, I sneezed near the narcissist, and the narcissist said, "Save the best for last." So this was probably two separate things, but the narcissist said, "Save the best for last." We know that God saves the best for last, and I've always, my whole life, wanted to save the best for last. Like, I want to do the stuff that sucks first, and then be able to enjoy myself afterwards. So this is January, February, March 24th, 2026. The road was closed. Oh, there was a windstorm, and there was a brick building. This building was probably late 1800s, standing from the late 1800s, and the storm was so severe, which I believe is witchcraft, that it actually blew off the top of this building. And they had to close the road. There was poles, like light poles, blown over. Very unusual. Very unusual. This is, like where I live, it's a historic street. So the houses are like early 1900s. But this brick house was probably even older than that. And all of the bricks matched. So that would have been the first time the bricks blew off of the building. And this was witchcraft sent. It was witchcraft sent to stop me from biking, and probably so that it would be unsafe and I might get hit by a car or something. I'm not sure. But God will not allow that. So this day, I guess I was biking and leaving, and I saw there was like poles, downed poles, the top of a building blown off. There was somebody waiting, and this is a type of witchcraft. Like, they spend so much time, effort, money to do silly little things. Like, and yeah, they also do try to kill me. But the amount of effort they spend, it's really sad. So there was a woman just sitting in her car. And she's just waiting there. Who knows how long? It could be hours in there waiting until I come by. And so her trash can is in the middle of the sidewalk. So that when I'm biking, it's going to be in the way. So then she's sitting there with her trash can in the middle of the sidewalk, which I normally don't bike on the sidewalk. But because of the wind, I wasn't going as fast. So that's probably why I was on the sidewalk. Because I could only bike like half as fast with how strong the wind was. And so she was sitting in her vehicle for who knows how long, waiting for me to come by and see that the trash can was in my way. Then she got out and put it away as soon as I went by. This is what they do. This is so much effort. It's far worse for them than it is for me. And not always, but then God renders judgment. Excuse me. Then I don't remember exactly where. I was walking. Someone in a car slowed down to look at me. I know there's spies, but this was very unusual. They slowed their vehicle down and stared at me. They looked at me intentionally, so they were probably an enemy. Rain stopped right before. Probably the rain stopped right before I left. I went to my booth, and the person that runs the booth said the weather was supposed to warm up this week, and the cold was what keeps the customers away. I only made $4. Because after I paid rent, I only made $4, which was, I lost a lot of money because the items I sold were worth more than $4. But whatever. I trust the Lord. all of the online venues are having problems. Like Facebook is getting rid of its shipping. eBay, there was witchcraft used there where a package was lost. I ended up having to pay eBay at the end of the month because I only sold one item and the post office lost it. So then they charged me shipping too. And I am already in debt, so this was not good. So it was probably God saying, get off eBay. But I actually closed my store on there. And I have listings that are free to keep going. But actually, I sold one item on there, and then the post office lost it, and they charged me money. So this is all horrible. Like, I'm not allowed to have a job, and then my ways of making money online are all having problems. And I know that God controls everything. But it's really frustrating. Like, I would just give all this stuff away if I had another way. But I don't yet. It's ridiculous. And, like, no one will help someone in my situation. They attack, but they don't help. And God removed his hands of protection off of the Jews when they no longer took care of their women, their single women. Yes, it may say widows or something like that, but I believe that today this also means divorced or single mothers are not being taken care of. It's not the government's job to do that. It should be the people going to church and giving charity. It should be the fathers and the husbands, or the boyfriends, or the males that were there for one night. I don't know, but this system is wrong. The government should never be taking over this charity, because a just society, the people themselves choose to take care of the women. Instead, now they have more women working than men. This is a horrible system. Then the children go to the schools and they teach them to be devil worshippers and join covens. I could say woke left too, but I've noticed the woke left. The woke left is the coven, and they do it on purpose. But then I actually have met some people. I've met one person that actually believed this too, and they were not bad. So, but for the most part, it's just an attack. Now, there's evil on the conservative side too. So don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, they don't want to follow God's laws. They basically flip God's laws upside down. That the conservative side is more like over-regulation and making a bunch of like sexist rules. So that's like what the church does. It's like what the Pharisees do. So it's like Pharisees versus devil worshippers when you have the conservative and the woke left. God's not either of those. Anyways. So, I thought that maybe I would make a few dollars the next month because that was a bit of good news. And apparently they had 4 furnaces there and like only one of them works. Like there's a lot of witchcraft, and she actually understood and agreed about people. I mentioned something about people being jealous and they don't want to see anyone improve their house or the community. So they'll try to stop it. And she totally agreed. See. What? I don't even know what the WHA team. Oh, I went to the bike charity, and this time they really took care of my bike. I remember my bike was damaged again. So I'd contact them about picking it up. And this time they said the A team is taking care of your bike, and they did a wonderful job. They took their time and they like detailed it. But first time when I got it, it was kind of rushed out the door, but this time they like cleaned the chain and like serviced it and made sure everything was just right. That was the A team. I went to the soup kitchen. So I saw someone there that invited me. I'm just going to say it was Wood. I saw Wood, and he invited me to a different soup kitchen. Now, I don't think he would be upset for me saying this. because he does like that soup kitchen better. I do think so. So this is not like this is not anything bad, but those people there were attacking me. He was cursing me and stuff, but it wasn't anything too bad. He was doing a bunch of fat spells. He got his karma. But there was other people there that were trying to kill me. I don't think he was doing that. He was just like doing fat spells. But actually, he might have stopped now. He kind of seems like he likes me as a friend. Nothing, but I'm saying it seems like we kind of get along and stuff. But they're all sent to get me. Like, I just talked to him earlier today, and like, he seems like a nice guy. So anyways, then I was also at the soup kitchen. This is the soup kitchen I've been going to for many months. And I sat across a woman, and she mentioned the same soup kitchen. It's on the other side of town. So Wood invited me to, and that's not his real name. That's his nickname. He invited me to a different soup kitchen, and then I sat down. A woman was across from me, and she mentioned the same soup kitchen. So, they used the soup kitchen used this as an opportunity to curse me. The office was locked, so I went to use a shower, and to get the towels that are in the office, I needed a towel to take the shower. They're like, "Oh, it's locked. We don't have a key." And but then it turned out that there were some in the washing machine that hadn't been taken out yet, and so I was cursed to get this. It was annoying, but it wasn't really that big of a deal, I'm just gonna say. So I got cursed, and the employee handed me the towels himself. If I had went and gotten one out of the basket where everybody is allowed to, it would have not have been a curse. But because the employee it handed me one, it was a curse. And it was like a special thing to get it, because the office was locked. Like, they use every single chance they can to curse me. So I know I was cursed. I got cursed right away. I go into the shower, close the door, and within a few seconds, the shower curtain rod falls on the floor, and then I gotta fix it and put it back. It's like, it's annoying, but it's not really that big. It's not that big of a deal, I'm just gonna say. But it was annoying. And also, there was people going into the other shower, just turning the water. Like, they go in when I go in. So there's 2 showers. And so they send people there. They know I'm coming in to take a shower. They'll send someone in to use up the water in the other shower. So, like, once I go in, then someone else will go in and turn on the other shower so the water isn't hot. Or then they send a bunch of people to flush the toilets all at once. They do this to me all the time. So I don't... Like, and they're pretty nice showers at the soup kitchen. But actually, I just kind of wait it out. So when I get into the shower, I kind of just stand there and, like, don't do much for like 10 minutes while they go ahead and turn on the showers and flush the toilets. And so, yeah, I'm in there for like an hour, because like they keep like flushing toilets and using the other shower, and it's like too hot, too cold. So I'm not going to rush out, you know. You guys should have thought about that. Okay, MK Ultraman looks at me but stays away. He notices I'm there, but he does not approach. So I think he's getting caught. I've caught him in some lies, and what he's tried hasn't worked. So he brought in a friend, I guess. So like, he's staying back now, and he brought in his friend, and his friend might try to get me, but his friend didn't really try to get me. But I think that's why he was brought in. But maybe it was just too much work, and he chose not to. So outside of the shower, there was a couple, and they were complaining about the other shower. So actually, this is before I went in. There's a chair out there. So there was a woman with a towel on her head. She had just taken a shower, and she's sitting out there in the chair, and her boyfriend or something, her husband, is next to her. And they're saying, this shower isn't good. And they're saying, that's the good one. And I was going to go in that one anyways, because one of them's bigger than the other. So then I go in, then the rod falls off. So they were just encouraging me to go into the shower where the curtain rod was about to fall off. So they knew. And this isn't that big a deal. But this is what I mean. They had a couple go to the soup kitchen, a woman take a shower, sit in a chair, wait for me to come, and then tell me, oh, that shower's no good. That's the good one. So who knows, maybe she had to sit there for an hour and wait for me. And then I go in, and then, oh, the shower curtain rod falls off. And so I have to spend like 1 or 2 minutes putting it back. But who knows how long she was sitting there waiting for me. Um, I have something written about a pork sandwich, and I got turkey. Oh, there was only pork sandwiches that day, but then one of the employees went in the back and brought out a turkey sub from this food service company. But all of those people there had been eating pork. Now there is a new hire there who is a witch, and she's best friends with the narcissist. They're not ever really friends. But anyways, she is a beautiful woman. But it's like she looks evil at the same time. I'm saying this so that you can understand. Is that like, to me, Angelina Jolie looked evil. And I don't follow celebrities, so these are like what I remember seeing 10, 20 years ago. She looked kind of evil. Well, this woman that has started working at the soup kitchen is like high-fiving and hugging the narcissist. They're like best friends, and she looks evil like that, like the witch, or like in Sleeping Beauty, like the evil witch. Like, she's got that kind of. She is in the coven. So, but hopefully she can repent. But anyway, she is now working at the soup kitchen, so that it'll be even easier for them to cast spells on everyone and poison the food, or put drugs in the food, or whatever they're going to do. It's going to be a lot easier, because now the narcissist and a witch are working together. It's like, and it did look a little bit like a loss. But God's going to use this for good, and it will be a win in the end. I mean, I've stopped going there altogether. And at least right now I have food in my fridge. Not for that many days, but I have food in my fridge right now. And there's still another soup kitchen that's open 3 days a week. And they only serve one meal, but that is something. So God has been providing, and there's other groups that have food too. So I guess they are stuck there. The woman started working there to get me, I believe. But then I left. And this is later, so I left later. I didn't leave right away. I still went for a little while after she started working there. So seconds, a man behind a woman made a sandwich just for. Oh, okay, so they had pork sandwiches. And so everyone all had pork sandwiches. And the woman that worked there, who I'd say is Mama Cat, but that's not her name. That is not her name. I think someone said that, but that was not, I know her real name. I'm not saying it in this video. She went and got turkey and made a special turkey sandwich just for me. Then she called seconds. I went through the line again. And then I wasn't going to get a sandwich. I was just going to get like some chips and a side and not another sandwich. And then I went past her and she had a sandwich ready. I'm like, oh, I don't need a sandwich. That's okay. Just this and this. And she's like, oh, but I made it just for you. I made it just for you. And there was a man behind me who I know I've seen before. And he's like, oh, Jennifer. I'm like, you can have it. And he's like, she made it just for you. And then he was saying, like, look, she made it just for you. She's like, but I made it for you. I'm like, okay, I'll take the sandwich. I take the sandwich. And there's mold all over the bread. She intentionally got moldy bread and gave me a mold sandwich. Now, this woman is often cursed. Or when I say cursed, they use spells. So I know the narcissists use spells, because some days, like, she acted like she was real nice to me in the beginning. But then most of the time after that, she was like an enemy. So I think that the narcissist was doing, like, if they have some water or pops that they're all sharing back there, which is what I imagine, there's probably spells cast on all of that, so that when she drinks it, then she kind of becomes like a robot or becomes like an enemy to me. I know what this is. It's witchcraft. That's why she's behaving this way. But she's like, oh, but I made it just for you. And then I was gonna like, well, he can have it. And she said it again. I'm like, okay. And he's like, look, Jennifer, take your same. She made it for you. And then I look and I saw she's holding a sandwich and there's mold on it. I'm like, okay, give me the sandwich. Give me the moldy sandwich. No, I didn't eat it. I threw it in the trash. But still, I took it. And the man behind me saw it, and I think he thought it was funny. He noticed the mold. um, give cake. I went home. I sold a few things. I was sick. My throat was sore. Did not go to any groups. Narcissist and I will say the witch. High-fived, had an evil smile. My father called about court. He sent $100 to me and told me to buy food at Walmart. Or something I need, but basically food. He sent me, and this must have been right before Easter. I think this was before Easter. He normally does not do this. But, so I know that it's important that I do not go to the soup kitchen. It's just like how God alerts me. God uses my father. We don't talk much. But when I'm not supposed to go to the soup kitchen, God will make it clear. Like my father called me that evening, and he said he sent me $100 to buy food at Walmart to have it delivered. And that was also really important. This was actually to stay home and not go to the soup kitchen for a while was to be obedient to God. I understand the way things work. I've experienced enough to know that if I try to do things my own way, then bad things happen. And the very best course of action is to follow God. And so if my father calls and says, here's $100, buy food at Walmart.com, that I do that and I do not go to the soup kitchen for a while. And this is right after. So the narcissist had been working at the soup kitchen. But now his new buddy, well, I'll call the female witch, has now started working there. And they're like best friends. Okay. And then that night. So I think this is the same day. So possibly the same day that they announced, well, she's working here now. Then that night my father called and gave me $100 and told me to buy food at Walmart. So that was God's way of saying, do not go to the soup kitchen for a while. It's not safe. And it wasn't. It wasn't safe. So now they always have a spotter. Like if one of them goes to the bathroom or leaves, the other one can watch and know where I am. It's not just the food being tampered with. Like there are actually hits and people being sent after me. And they are alerted when I leave the soup kitchen. They spy on me. They have people all over. And they watch which way I go. Okay. Oh, the serial killer was there, said hey in a happy voice. So I thought maybe he was getting better, but probably not. I don't know. But he said hey, like he was nice. It was weird. But later he did the devil's horns with his hand again. Later I was biking to the soup kitchen like once. And I rung my bell as I passed him, and then he did the devil's horns to let me know he's still on the side of Satan. Anyways. So, Coven was going skating, but it was on the Sabbath. So they were mentioning this skating event. And this might have also been what the Black Church invited me to, a skating event. It sounded fun. But it would have been buying or selling. It would have been forcing employees to work on the Sabbath. So I was not going to go on the Sabbath. But at the same time, they were trying to disappoint me because they were about to do something so I wouldn't be able to go. So they were going to drug me and make me sick, and they were also not going to offer me a ride. So I would be alone at home and sick, and no one would call and ask if I was okay, and they would all be having fun going skating. But I wasn't going to go anyways. It's on the Sabbath. The Sabbath is Saturday. Anyways, so MK Ultraman said, "You can help me with my." Oh, he had a new approach. So now today, instead of trying to date me, like there was another man in the line who I knew, and this is the man that was rude to me when I blew my nose, and he was like, "Oh, nasty," when I blew my nose. Now I know now. I did not know then, but I know now they were using witchcraft and plants and perfumes to make me sneeze and to make my nose run. So they knew I wasn't even sick. And then this man would try to, like, say, go to the bathroom to blow your nose. No, I'm in line. I'm not getting out of line to go to the disgusting bathroom that addicts, mess with. You're going to be dirtier washing your hand in the sink there. That's all I'm going to say. Well, not if you know how to do it right, which, but anyways. So this man was in front of me, and MK Ultraman was behind me, and then they start, like, fighting. And it's really ridiculous. They're arguing, fighting, and it actually looks like this man ahead of me who said nasty to me, it looked like his feelings were hurt, actually. So, if this was planned or not, I don't know. Because, I think it was a plan, but I still think this man, the nasty man's feelings, it looked like his feelings were hurt. Because maybe it went a little too far, or they had some plan, but they didn't know what it was. But then I went to sit down, and I de-escalated it, and I said, it's not worth it. Just let it go. And he's like, maybe you can help me with my anger. So this is another thing. They think I have some type of savior complex. And so, like, she's not going to go out with you. Maybe she'll like you if, you can work together, and she can help you with your anger. And this is the thing about boundaries that God has taught me and taught other people. Which is, we aren't supposed to help everybody. We actually want, the good people with empathy want to help everybody, but we're not supposed to. A lot of times it's a trick, it's a trap, it's a scheme. And so we trust them, and they can attack us. Like, most of the time, that is what I've noticed. And so, you actually aren't supposed to help people unless you actually believe it will help them. Because there's a lot of people, it's not going to do anything. Or they'll just use that as an opportunity to attack you. So God is calling us to use our discernment to know who can actually benefit, who actually wants help, and who's just tricking us, and who's just using it as a reason to get close. So you have to use discernment. And most of the time, it is not for the right reasons. So you don't just help everybody that asks for help. You have to know. This is what the enemy does. The enemy plays victims, and the enemy sends people that need help. They need you to take care of them, so they can use up all your time, your money, your resources. And this is what God has been teaching me. Let's see. In my yard, there was just a receipt laying in my yard, and it had a 17 on it. And then there was somebody in a car watching. Okay, so this must have been, I left, so then I left the soup kitchen and I went home. And there was just a receipt laying in my lawn. I pick it up, it's got a 17 on it. There's someone parked on the other side of the street, they watch. No, they watch. Because, like, after it's like, sometimes I go out my front door, there's people spying. And once I go out my front door, they drive off. Or I'm outside, they watch, then they leave. So, like, they wait till they see me, and then they leave. So, it's pretty obvious. And this person was probably making sure I saw the receipt. The receipt had a 17 on it. Okay, this is 3/25/26. Now, there's probably more that happened, too, because I have another journal. I have two. So, I'm going to go back and record in the small journal as well separately later. 3/25, free dinner on 2nd Street. Oh, I was told about a free dinner. This was at a church. I didn't know where it was. It was at a church. It was a mission from God. And I actually almost forgot about it. They kept mentioning this free dinner, and then I kept forgetting about it. And so I actually showed up at the regular soup kitchen this time. I showed up at the regular soup kitchen. And I just went and I ate a small meal there. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I was told about a free meal. I'm going to eat real quick and then go get the free meal. So I stopped at the regular soup kitchen and I ate. Now, it wasn't as much as I wanted, but I still got a meal. And they're like, oh, I gotta go. And while I was there, I think people tried to curse me. They tried to hand me napkins. They tried to give me, like, a cup of water. And I was like, no, no. I can't take stuff from anybody. So I think two, they look like teenagers. A male teenager and a female teenager tried to give me something. I know it was a curse. I didn't take it. I ate quickly. And I actually went to the office to ask where this road, or which way to go to get there. Like, left or right. And then the manager who has the Paul spirit used it as an opportunity to say something to hurt my feelings. It was like passive aggressive where it wasn't obvious, but I knew what he was talking. He said something to me to try to hurt my feelings, and I'm like, oh no. And I'm like, which way is it? So I just deflected it, and then I repeated, which way is it? And then they told me, so then I started to bike and leave. Now, MK Ultraman's friend, who's the big man, has come in, and I think he was leaving at the same time. So he was leaving, and then I was leaving. See, he must have known I was leaving, because I went to the office. They knew I was going to go and get a free meal somewhere. So he was outside waiting. And so, I don't know what his plans were. I think he was sent to get me, but he did not. He never attacked me, but I think he maybe would have if he was able. I really do think. But then he's biking, so he leaves like a minute before I do. But they all know, they're spying. They know I went in the office. I'm leaving. I'm like, oh, I gotta go. And I'm asking which way to go. So he's already outside waiting. And so then he starts to leave and he's going kind of slow. And then once I pass, I like wave her. I said, there's a free meal this way. And I invite him. But he's like, oh, no, I'm not interested. But then he's biking, and he's biking right behind me for quite a while, actually. He's following me on the bike, and he's going pretty fast. So that makes me think, maybe he was sent to attack me. Because I thought he was going to go the other way. And he's an overweight man, but that's why it was very surprising, because I'm pretty fast on the bike. I'm pretty fast. And he was like keeping up with me, and I was trying to bike fast, but then I keep looking back, it's this way if you want to go. So I do have my suspicions. He was probably sent to follow me and, I don't know, maybe attack me if he's some type of soldier. If this is MK Ultraman's friend, it doesn't matter how big he is if he's some soldier. And but he was biking real fast. And then the light's about to turn red, and I like kind of I like swerve in front of somebody and then go the other way. So I'm like, oops. But I made it safely across the street. But like I basically started crossing, then the light changed, and then I went the other way. I'm like, oops, and then he was no longer following me, so he couldn't follow me. So this was God, I'm sure, because the light just changed. He was right behind me, and then because it had changed, he couldn't follow me, and he had to go the other way. So then I continued to this other location, which they call the bad side of town. They call the dangerous side of town. But I don't know. It's probably not much different from the street I live. I'm just going to say, honestly. But people think this is where the crime is. I mean, maybe it's a little bit more dangerous than where... I don't know. Because I looked at a map, and the street that I live actually had a higher crime rate. And maybe that's been taken care of now. Because God has taken care of the warlock that used to live across the street. They're probably coordinating a lot of things. So this free dinner, I just ate a light meal at the normal soup kitchen. And then I left because I'm like, oh shoot, there's a free meal. But I already had my tray, so I just ate it real quick. And I didn't get a free meal. It was a mission from the Lord. Well, but I already did eat. I did eat enough. So... Okay, this I missed something earlier in the day. So I went to this new soup kitchen. The manager was wearing red, and this time exposed themselves as an enemy. It actually looked like she was good before. But this day, at least, she exposed herself as an enemy or under witchcraft. She was wearing red. I was really sick. I asked if they had any medicine or tissues. And then she goes and gets like a roll of toilet paper. And something that holds your nose. It's like a strip that opens your passages. Like, none of this will do anything for me. But then I was actually happy. I'm like, I need toilet paper. But now I'm not. That was the worst toilet paper. I still have it like 3 months later. Because it doesn't even work. I just like, it's just sitting in my bathroom. It doesn't work. You try to use it and it like just shreds into a bunch of little pieces. This is the absolute worst. But like, she acted like, oh, yeah, let me go see. Because I was really sick. They had drugged me. It was obvious that I was sick. So I was coughing. I asked if they had any medicine or tissues. And he's like, well, I don't have any tissues. I have this roll of toilet paper. And I thought, well, that's great. I need toilet paper. Until I used it. This toilet paper, they should be sued for fraud because it's not toilet paper. It's messier than using nothing. Because when you try to use it, it just shreds into little pieces that, like, fall all over the place. It's horrible. The worst toilet paper, it's, like, so thin. It's 1 ply, and it falls apart. Like, this is the worst toilet paper I've ever used in my life. So this was the attack of the enemy this day. They probably, I don't know if they had cough medicine or if they're allowed to give that out. Or cough drops would have been fine. They think they mentioned that. But there was none. I got the worst toilet paper I've ever used in my entire life. It's the worst. And no tissues. Oh, there was warlocks in the building. Surprised I came out first. So I went to the Salvation Army. Oh, I had food to pick up. There was a man there. I was really sick. There was a man there. His appointment, like, he said, oh, I thought my appointment was at 1, but it says here it was at 11. So he actually was supposed to be there earlier, and he pretended he didn't know. And then he showed up there at the same time as my appointment. They let him go get his stuff anyways. But this was the Lord. Because he saw I was real sick. And I was coughing. Like, I was like losing my voice. I could hardly speak. And I said, I hope you guys have some medicine. And this man, actually, he was driving a really expensive car. So I thought it was kind of interesting. I didn't know if he worked there. I assumed he was not getting food. Because his car looked like it was really expensive. But he was there getting food. And he saw I was really sick. And we small talked just for a few seconds. And I said, I hope they've got some medicine back there. So then after I got my stuff, there wasn't medicine. He gave me, when I was leaving, he had a $20 bill. And he gave it to me and he said, get some medicine. So I did go to Dollar General. I was looking for throat spray. They didn't have any. But I did buy some NyQuil and stuff. And I would say, I was so sick, I was drugged. See, this must have been in my small journal and not here. So, the narcissist and his gang, the Coven, drugged me. They drugged me at the cornhole game, and they got me very sick. So, I'm going to have to make another video on this. I was very sick, and so, this several days had passed, I was not getting better. I had a Salvation Army appointment, and when I was there, a man saw, and he had an expensive looking car, and then he saw me leaving. He gave me a $20 bill to get medicine. And God will bless him for that, I'm sure. He also gave me some extra stuff. But then this was used to curse me. He might have been, I don't know. I would say he gave me $20. This was good, because normally when they curse me, they give me garbage. They give me trash. They give me moldy bread. They give me a pencil. Like, they give me stuff with no value. They give me something they got for free. This man actually pulled out a $20 bill and gave it to me. So that's why I don't know. But I still got cursed. And he also had, like, a food box. And, yeah, he had a food box. And he didn't want to... he didn't want all of it. And he put stuff here and he said, take it. But actually, I did get cursed because when I was biking back, my bag was rubbing on my wheel, and it put a hole in the bottom of my bag, the one King Herod gave me. So it did damage my favorite bag at the time. So that wasn't worth the $20. But maybe I'm supposed to get rid of that bag at some point. So that's okay. God knows what I don't. But this man gave me a $20 bill, and he gave me like extra canned stuff. And of course, I showed up, I had a bag, and I had enough to easily just take my stuff and go. But then I was given more, so then it was difficult to load on my bike again. Like, I will show up prepared and then like have an extra large bag and be able to situate stuff quickly and get out of there. And then like, oh, here's another, here's more. It's like they do it on purpose. It's like, oh, I don't want this, take it. And so then I gotta try to like tie more things to my handlebars, and it becomes much more difficult. And this takes me a good like 5 minutes to get this stuff on there. The $20 bill was really nice, and I did write down the man's name. There was a phone number for a home repair helpline. I wrote it down. I didn't call him. When God restores me, like everything I try, nothing works. So I guess I should do nothing and just wait for someone to show up at my door. So, okay. So now I'm going back to the soup kitchen at dinner. So the manager said something to try to upset me, and then he answered my question. Okay, there was a young man there. He asked to bring me water. A girl asked to give me a napkin. I declined them both. People were watching. There was gym witches. Messing with, they were messing with the equipment right after I used it to frame me so I would get in trouble. And I just found out they were doing this for a while, and I didn't know until the manager approached me and asked me some questions. So I didn't, and then I told another man there what was going on, and he believed me. The other ones didn't really, but they do now. So I think they caught some people trying to frame me. It took a while, but some of them I believe got caught, because it went from like I don't know if I really believe that to they believed it because they caught them. I think so. One of them did believe me because sometimes they notice people come in to use the massage chairs like right when I said, you notice when I come in that a bunch of people swarm in to use the massage chairs at the same time? He's like, yeah. I said, yeah, it's like covens. They follow me around like it's a full-time job. This man believed me because he's not the only one. That I go up to use something and someone jumps ahead and they sign up for it before I can. Anyways. So, then I am leaving the regular soup kitchen. See, I put my notes in the wrong... they're all in different order. I'm leaving this soup kitchen, and I'm going to get a free meal. Something they have told us about several times. And I show up, and it's almost a good meal, but there's pepperoni on the top of it. And this is being served at a church. So now I do know this is a mission from God. This is a mission. I asked, like, they didn't have anything without pepperoni on it. So I would have no, they didn't even ask if they had drinks. They didn't even have a drink to give me. So they had nothing. They didn't even have a bag of chips. So I walked in there, I biked all the way in there, and I left with nothing. They didn't have a side. They didn't have a bottle of water, nothing. They just had a box, and there was pepperoni in that meal. It was lasagna with pepperoni on the top, I think. But anyways, then I showed up, and I already had a smaller meal. I already had a meal. So that was okay. This was acceptable. But then, I asked to speak to somebody, and I just told him how we're not supposed to eat pork, and I said it nicely. And he said, well, he tried to say something about, like, not in the Old Testament, but in the New Testament. There's something where we're not allowed to eat pork in the New Testament. So then I just told him, I think it was Acts 15. I forget. I got to look what book it is again. But then actually, then I did give him something in the New Testament where you still have to, you're not allowed to eat everything. And this was for new converts. They still weren't allowed to eat whatever they wanted, and they still weren't allowed to eat pork. It's poorly translated, but even that is good enough. So this was a church. Everything had pork on it. People were lined up eating pork, leaving with pork. And the pastor, and I said, we're not allowed to eat pork. And he's like, basically, right, and he was being nice. But right away he said that he basically would not accept anything in the Old Testament. He said, well, what, he wanted to know if there was something in the New Testament. And I knew there was something in the New Testament. And so I told him. So they use this story about a dream, I think a vision Peter had, of like a bunch of strange unknown animals, which was not pig because they very well knew that. But and these animals, it was because they weren't sacrificed in the kosher way of slaughter, but that he was able to eat them. But this obviously would not have been pig because they knew what pig was, and that was not food. But actually, I think it's the next chapter. After this vision, it actually says, tell them not to eat food sworn to idols, or there was something else stipulated too. Tell them not to eat food, and so there's two ways to translate this, and of course in our English King James, it's the worst translation, but there's another translation. Tell them not to eat meat that is sacrificed to idols, or not killed not slaughtered in the kosher method is one way of translating this. But I forget what it, maybe I've written this down. So I told them about the pork in Acts 15 in this is in the New Testament. So another way to translate this is tell them not to eat food sacrificed to idols and not slaughtered in the humane way. I have to look up exactly what it said. That is one way to translate it. But even if it doesn't say that, there are still stipulations on the food, and this is only a transition for the new converts, which the eventual food that they should be eating, like later the rules will be more strict, but this is just like they're just getting into it and they don't follow any of it. So there was actually a lot of debates going on. Do they have to follow this? Do they not have to follow this? What do we tell these new converts? They don't know how to slaughter things a certain way. So I don't know. I don't know the exact specifics, but there's enough going on. There was councils, and it's been a while. I have to look this up again. But there was councils going on where they were trying to discuss. They did not know what rules the new converts should follow because they followed none of the rules. So they were just trying to tell them to follow some of the rules. But God wanted them to follow all of the rules. And there were still stipulations placed on meat in the next chapter in Acts 15. So there's just like the way that witches and warlocks and Kingdom of Darkness attacks me. Like there's a man just on the sidewalk with his cart pushed out, so it's completely blocking the whole sidewalk right where I need to get through. They do this on purpose. They watch me. They'll put a trash can on the middle of the sidewalk. They'll stand in my way. The soup kitchen this evening was hot and it was stinky. It smelled bad and it was hot. Okay, so there was a woman was grumpy. There was a Bible study after this. Free chocolate mints. Oh, this must have been a Wednesday. So the Salvation Army has a Bible study on Wednesdays. And I don't think they're having it now because their new leadership is leaving. Because the God because the God, creator of the universe, after I dealt with them, has rendered judgment, and they are going back to a different state and leaving. But anyways, there was a Bible study. I believe they invited me. One of them did try to poison me. Well, maybe more than one, but probably not everybody knows about it, but some did. And so maybe they were going to try to take me out. They failed. But before that could happen, I was being invited to the Bible study. They pretended like we were friends. This is what they always do. Pretend like we're friends. Try to invite me to some camp. Try to involve me in the stuff. And then they try to poison me. Same thing. But anyways, I show up at this Bible study, and I was still a little hungry. Because the meal, I did have a full meal at the soup kitchen, but it was smaller than normal. And I just ate real quick and left. Because I thought I was going to have another free meal somewhere else. They've been telling us about this meal for a long time. But then there was nothing. Because there was pork in it. But actually the man I told was quite receptive. And he did get the message. And he was also told. And then he actually asked again. So then, and I asked them, do you have any bottled water? And they're like, no, but we have a water fountain. So then I went to get a drink at the water fountain. And as I was coming back through again, I think this man then asked me, he worked for the church. And he said, what was that verse again? And not mean, like he wanted to know. And then he, because he heard me say it, but then maybe he wanted to make sure it was right or he forgot. So then as I passed him again, he asked me the verse and I gave it to him. So he wanted to know the verse. So this was good sign. I don't know what has happened since. But anyways, so I was still a little hungry. I show up at the Salvation Army Bible study and they've got cans of free chocolate mints. Apparently they don't like them. They have a bunch and they don't like them. They probably cast spells on them. They're probably cursed. I don't know, because why would they? So they gave a whole can on my table, and I just basically got to eat these chocolates. I'm not a big chocolate mint fan. But anyways, then of course there's a table of children, and then they get their own can later, and they're eating this. Maybe there's a spell on these chocolates. Okay, so I was invited to this Bible study by a woman when I went to Walmart. When I went to Walmart to buy the thermal blanket and return the dog spray, the poof spray that didn't work, then there was a woman from Salvation Army there. And then she was right by the entrance, and she quickly invited me to the Bible study and then left. So then I had to go. This is what God does. But anyways, then next week was Passover and a Seder meal. They said they were having a biblical meal. They were trying to do all the steps and do the same meal that Jesus ate in the Bible. And I was really interested, but they invited me, asked for my phone number, and said they would pick me up and bring me there, and we would all eat the biblical Seder meal together. I was invited. The woman asked for my phone number, my address, and said she was going to pick me up and bring me to the Passover meal, and I was going to eat with them. So I think maybe she has exposed herself as an enemy, and this is why I'm getting all these spam calls. Because they asked for my phone number so they can pick me up and take me to church, and then I don't know what they do. Then I get more spam calls. What do they sign me up for a bunch of stuff? They sign my phone number up to a bunch of databases. This is one thing the covens do, I have figured out. So they invite me, they're being real nice. They're like, oh, we got a camp, you can come. We're picking out songs. They're acting like they like me. They like me. Oh, we're having this Seder meal next week. They know I'm interested in that because they know I want to follow the biblical holidays. There's a whole network. They spy on me. I was with the devil. He knows. I never wanted to worship, I never wanted to follow the pagan holidays. Like Easter, Christmas, I wanted to follow the biblical holidays. And so this was a biblical holiday and a biblical meal. And of course I'm interested in that. And they were going to pick me up and take me there. But they didn't. They didn't. This is probably protection from God, I'm just going to say. But maybe they never planned on picking, they probably never planned on picking me up. I don't know. Oh, in this Bible study, after the Bible study, then they do like crafts and game for, and they played Uno for a while. Um, so yeah, this was on Sunday, was the Passover meal. I was actually looking forward to it, and I really wanted to eat this. But just the day or two before, my father had sent me $100 for food. And I don't think I ordered it yet. I didn't order it yet. I didn't order it right away when he sent it. I was going to order it a few days later. I was waiting a couple days, and then I was going to order it. But I should have ordered it right away. But I don't know. I was going to order the food. But then I was invited to this Passover meal. So maybe this is one way of God telling me, do not go to the Passover meal. I've given you money to buy food. Okay, so now I'm on 3/27, March 27th, 2026. I went to the doctor and got medicine. Actually, these people at the doctor's office were so nice, and they signed me up for low income, so it only cost me $5 to go to the doctor. I did not go to the soup kitchen. I took a nap, and I went to dinner. Actually, there was supposed to be an Easter meal at the Mormon church. I biked there, and it was canceled because of the storm. The power was out, and it wasn't going to be, they didn't know when it was going to be back on, maybe the next day. So then, this was God too. Like these windstorms. The witches, they're using witchcraft to send these crazy windstorms. Like here's a building, let's see, late 1800s. It's more than 100 years old. And it's had original bricks. But, like a couple days before, they had some crazy witchcraft spells making whirlwinds, and it blew the top of this building off. These bricks, and you could tell they were original bricks because they're the same shade, they're the same color from the top to the bottom. These bricks were 100-year-old bricks at least. And it was a few days ago, the top of this building was blown off. So anyways, it actually blew out the power lines. Like, it blew out the storm somehow caused the power to not work at the Mormon church, and it was canceled. So I actually biked there. They invited me several times. They told, actually, at least, like, probably 2 times, they told me when and where the Easter meal was at the Mormon church. So I went there, I biked there, and I actually saw someone else in the parking lot, a couple there that I recognized, but we never really talked. And they were there for the meal too, but they didn't know the meal was canceled. And I was on my bike. I biked up to them and I asked, "Are you here for the meal?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then they called. They called, like, I don't know if the missionaries or the bishop, and they asked, and then they confirmed it was rescheduled. It was like like the next day or a couple days later. I can't remember. But anyways, it was not then. So they actually, while I was there, I asked them about it. So then they called, and then they told me, "Oh yeah, it is canceled today because the power's out." So then I was already out. Like, this is a little bike ride, maybe more than 3 miles. I have biked when I am deadly sick. I biked to this church, and it was canceled. And I'm trying really hard not to cough. I don't want to look like I'm sick or anything. So I'm trying to make it look like I'm not sick, but I'm clearly sick. And then I decide to bike to a different church that I actually did like this church. I decided, like, I'm just going to bike around instead of going straight back home. Because, like, God got me out of the house. I went here. It was canceled. So I just felt like not going... I felt like not going right back home yet. So then I biked to another church. This was God's plan all along. So I stopped at another church and I saw cars in the parking lot. So I thought maybe something's going on. There was cars in the parking lot and there's people inside. And I knock on the door and ring, and someone does come out, like, and they're like, "Oh, there's nothing going on." And they maybe look kind of ethnic. So I think maybe they were having Spanish services or something. I wasn't welcome. There was nothing going on. I thought actually, because of the holiday, some churches in the neighborhood might be putting on an Easter meal. Like the Mormon church had planned an Easter meal and it was canceled. So I thought, okay, this is canceled. Let me bike around and see if there's another church that's having an Easter meal. So then I stop at this one that I had been to before, and they actually served, they serve early Sunday morning breakfast. And so I stopped there, and I think they were doing the foreign church, and I was not welcome, so I left. And then I went to the church that's like a block or two behind there, which the coven freely operates in this church. Then I went to that church. But I did like the pastor, and he's got like, I don't really know his children, but I've seen them, and they look like such sweet kids, like good kids. So I thought that I would stop at this church because it's very close. So then I bike a couple blocks to this church, and I get to the door, and there's people inside, and the windows are open. So God sent me there. God sent me there. There is a man in there, and there's people in there. I asked if they had something going on for Passover or Easter, and the man was like, no, we're in here painting. They were painting something, or they were cleaning windows or painting windows. I think they were painting windows or putting new windows, something like that. And so there was a man that was hired, and then there was the narcissist and his warlock friend were in there. And so I asked if I could blow my nose because he had tissues, and he said sure. And then I just blew my nose. So I just went to blow my nose, and then I left. But while I was in there, the narcissist and his warlock friend, who runs another mental health facility, walked right in front of me, saw I was there. So they were there. They didn't expect anyone to show up. So there was a man that was hired to do something to the window. So I don't even know if the pastor knew they were there. The pastor might not have known that these two men were there. He probably did, but maybe he didn't. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But it was something bad going on. So here's a man that was a service employee doing a job. And he was in there to do something to the windows. And then there was the narcissist and his warlock friend there. These were the only people in the church. So I'm just biking around. My Easter dinner was canceled. I stop at one church, not welcome, go to the next church, and then I'm catching the narcissist and a warlock doing something. So yeah, they're probably putting in the window, but that's not all they're going to do. So they walk past me, they see me, they know I'm there. They don't say a word. They don't say hello. They don't say hi, Jennifer. Like, they actually know they're caught because they just poisoned me and got me sick. So this does two things. It lets them know I'm still alive. They thought I might be dead. But no, here I am, and I look pretty good. And also, whatever evil plans they had are now ruined. So the windows were open when I biked up, and there was just a man standing by the door, and he said, you can blow my nose. And then I'm just standing there by the door blowing my nose. And then the narcissist and his friend walk by. They see me. They say nothing. They are concerned that I am there. And so then after I blow my nose, and then I see him, and I'm calm, and I'm very much alive. And then I go back outside. Now the windows were open. Now they have closed all the windows. So then I think about it, and I get on my bike, and I bike around this church twice. And I just do protection prayers over this church and to cancel their plans. I don't remember exactly what I said. I'm not a magician. I just pray and then God does it. God does it. But God requires us to be willing participants, that there is free will involved. So it's not just God doing everything. We work with God. So God sent me here. God showed me. Of course they're up to no good. It's a narcissist. They don't do stuff for free. They do a bunch of nice stuff, but it's never to actually help. They do a bunch of nice things, and it's never for free. There's always an evil motive behind what they do. They don't go and fix windows for nothing. That's not why they're there. And so, like, they see I'm there. I'm concerned when I leave. Now they've closed all the windows and they're concerned. Now they're concerned. Like, what's she doing here? I thought she'd be dead after we poisoned her. Yeah, I need to. They got me again. But I think it's the same thing, so it's not as bad now. So, yeah, they got me sick, too. And then they were saying, oh, there's this skating thing. There's this skating thing. So they're wanting me to die and be sick and alone. Like, well, be sick and alone as I slowly died. And no one called to see if I was okay. And they were out having fun skating. But that's not what happened. I actually did go to the doctor. And they actually felt bad for me. And they're like, oh, sign her up for this low income thing. And then I got to see the doctor for $5. And they got me a bunch of medicine. And the medicine was like $17 for 4 things. They even gave me that throat spray. I was trying to buy this throat spray at Dollar General. And they didn't have it at the regular stores. But the doctor's office had it. And it was like $2 or $3. Is what I paid for this. And that is less. Like, this probably, if they did sell it at the regular store, would have been like $8 to $20. I don't know. It was a big bottle of like cherry flavored throat spray. This is what I wanted to buy. And when I went to the doctor, like, I got to see the doctor for $5. I got 4 medications. They were all like $3 each or something. So, well, maybe some were more. I got 2 really strong antibiotics. And so, if I had some other illness going on, it probably wiped that out too. So this was a good thing. God allows everything. I was so sick. I was sick for like a week. And I even bought stuff at the drugstore. I never take medicine. I was like, no medicine, just all natural, and I always got better. This time, whatever they gave me was so bad that I actually went and bought toxic poison medicine. I was that sick. And still, after a week, I was not getting better at all. So I actually had to go to a doctor. And this was God's plan. And I got some real antibiotics. 2 different kinds I was taking at the same time. So probably when I was with the devil, he probably infected me with some other stuff. I don't know. And then whatever antibiotics I got probably wiped that out. And has improved my health since then. So yeah, I just go around this and I do prayers of protection and like getting rid of their altars and canceling their plans. God placed me there at the right place in the right time and to let them know that I was very much still alive. And I was holding in my cough and I looked like I was fine. So this was a little badass. Or like how weak you guys are. But actually I was sick as a dog. I was sick, but I did get better. I had 2 antibiotics. Fill light, post angels, DE. I don't know what I wrote here. I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, so yeah, that was a mission from the Lord. I would have stayed in my house that day if I wasn't invited to an Easter meal at the Mormon church. And had I went to the Easter meal at the Mormon church, then I wouldn't have been at this other church while the narcissist was in there with his warlock friend. Who knows what they were doing to this church and the stuff in the church. And it was blocked because God sent me there. Fill light. I don't know what this is. Post angels. Okay, I think I don't know what this is. Fill light. Post office angels? Maybe there was angels at the post office. I went to Dollar General to buy some snacks. And the cashier was rude. They were trying to be cool, so they were cussing. They were a little rude. Oh. I was walking through the store and getting candy. Because I was given some money for candy. I think. And, my father gave me like so my father gave me a $20 bill to get some candy or something. I showed up So I went here, and then I was just going to get a few things. And then I start to get more and more, and then my hands are full, and I see there's just an empty box sitting in this cart. So then, like, I didn't want to go all the way up to the front. Just, like, a few feet away was an empty box. So I put my stuff in the box. I go to the checkout, and the person there's, like, real rude. Like, you're not allowed to do that. We don't allow people to put their stuff in a box. Like, they're being really rude to me. And, it's like, actually, I had my stuff in the box. It, like, perfectly fit in the box. And then I gave it to them to check out. They were mad that I brought my stuff to the front in an empty... These are our boxes. We get paid for these boxes to recycle. I said, you're just going to throw it away? It's like, no, we get paid for these boxes. Like, and that's fine, but the man was very rude. The man was very rude. And then I thought, am I supposed to... I thought, like, the way they treated me was really rude. Because they didn't have to be rude. They could have just kept the box and just said, we don't give out the boxes. But instead, this cashier was very disrespectful and very rude in the way he spoke to me. He's like, we don't let customers use these. He's like, these are our boxes. It's just real nasty. Over what? A 2-cent box. Like, you're gonna... And I'm buying, like... Anyways. So... Then I thought, am I supposed to boycott Dollar General? I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to boycott Dollar General. This is pretty close to my house. And if I want candy... But I will boycott it. Because I believe God had me stop going to the Dollar Tree when they were really rude. So now, this cashier was really rude to me. So I thought, am I supposed to boycott Dollar General too? I don't know. So then there's a YouTube general conference, I think, for the Mormons I was told about. And I still haven't watched it all, but I watched most of it. I can make another video on that at some point. Okay, so now, this is a lunch at the Mormon church. Okay, so they've rescheduled it for next Sunday. Okay. So I just have my notes about when to go someplace else. I should. Okay, 3/29. Now it's the 29th. I put hospital bathroom on here. How can you tell someone spends time with God? They glow. Someone said this. Someone said this to me. Maybe this is from a Bible. I think this is from a Bible study. It's like, how can you tell when... Oh, this was from the Salvation Army Bible study. There was an old woman there. She must have been in her 80s or 90s. And she actually looked pretty fit for her age. And she said, I showed up late to the Bible study, and she was talking, and she had real knowledge and real wisdom. And she said, you can tell somebody spends time with God because they glow. They have a brightness. So... And then the woman running this said something about sitting and listening. And she said something which was a message to me, where people just need someone to sit and listen to them, not to speak. That's good. Because a lot of times I don't know. Like, what do I say? I don't know what to say. So I feel like I'm just supposed to observe and listen to people most of the time. But sometimes I'm supposed to give messages to people. Normally, I'm just supposed to listen to people. And then they tell me. It's like therapy. See. Zechariah 9:9. Okay, so... Oh, maybe this is the Salvation Army church service. Jesus comes lowly riding on a donkey. Jesus was a prophet. Matthew 21, 1 through 11. Woman was homeless 4 years ago. Car repossessed. Found out. Oh, I think this is the free Sunday night dinner. Yeah, see, I really should put what day of the week this is. Because now, when was I at the Salvation Army? They have a Wednesday night Bible study. They have a Sunday service. And they have a Sunday Bible study. And they also have a Sunday night meal sometimes, but not recently. Okay, so... So I'm having a free meal here. And there was a homeless woman that's living in her car there, and we got to talk, and she was owed a lot of money, and I think she just got paid back and her car was getting fixed, so that was a little restoration for her. People have health problems. People have cancer, diabetes, ulcers. They all eat pork, of course. Somebody had mentioned something about a ukulele. Oh, there's this dog adoption center, and it's just where I hear numbers. I hear signs and synchronicities. Somebody just. So, this is a synchronicity that I wrote down. There is a major charity, it's like a dog adoption. What do you call it? Not a dog pound. Because I don't think they kill them, but they adopt these dogs out, and they take in dogs. They just got 22 dogs dropped off. And they were by the road that has a 17 in the name. The road name ends in 17, and they had 22 dogs dropped off. So, this was a message. Okay. Pray to remove spirit of delay. Others found right away. I wrote something silly. Karen instrument. Oh! Okay, I have been cursed. There's a Monday night Bible study with a witch that she does very dangerous spells. Her mother is a very high level witch. This one has tried to murder me many times. She's involved with actually having somebody try to stab me. But anyways, but she dated this man that works for the narcissist that does that does things that are meant to hurt your feelings. Let's see. So she did a bunch of curses on me because I told her I was doing a lot better because I was on antibiotics, and then she let me know. She was aware, and she knew what the plan was, because she said, "Oh, they normally don't give people antibiotics if they don't know what it is." She said that to me. I didn't tell her. I didn't tell her these specifics. She said this, which meant that she knew that what I was given would not show up in a test. She knew what I was given was something rare and uncommon that would not show up in a test. She said this to me. She was surprised I was able to get antibiotics. She said because doctors normally don't give you antibiotics if they don't know what it is. So how would she know they don't know what it is? So this let me know she was in on it. And they gave me something rare. Okay. So she did a curse on me that she knew I was on antibiotics, and she said those antibiotics can give you stomach trouble. She did this curse on me that I would have stomach trouble. Of course, God used this for good, but it was not good. So I was actually late. So I think I was going to the church at Salvation Army, and I was late because I had stomach trouble because I was just cursed by a witch. And then I was in the service, and then it was getting towards the end of the service, and there's one woman there with blonde hair, and she's playing an instrument, and she wants to tell this story before she plays. But then she's got the wrong verse, and then she's looking for it for like 5 minutes, and then it's just and my stomach is upset. My stomach is upset. And then, so then I prayed to remove the spirit of delay. And then another person comes up and is like, oh, I have it on my phone, here it is, and then they find it right away. So they're like looking and like, oh, I don't know, and like, I'm sorry, guys, and my stomach is bothering me because this witch just cursed me. Um, but then I'm able to, I'm able to hold on and make it through. During the service, so she did play the trumpet, I think, or a different similar instrument. But this was a direct answer to my prayer. She was really like, she had the wrong verse. There was a story she wanted to read. She couldn't find it, and she was just scrolling on her phone for like 5 minutes while like my stomach is really upset because a witch cursed me that the antibiotics would upset my stomach. And then as soon as I pray to remove the spirit of delay, someone comes up and like, oh, I found it. Oh, here it is. And then she's like, oh, I got it. Yeah, I thought so. So during this service, they mentioned give Jesus what you have. And even though it was something like a donkey, it wasn't anything that great. Now, it's still in a story being told thousands of years later, how important that is. Said even if it's a water, just give Jesus what he asked for and what you have. So I think this was part of the message. Is the followers and disciples of Christ will be brothers and sisters. They will be family to Jesus. So likewise, Jesus' family, which is not parents or real brothers or sisters, but they are adopted in through faith and obedience to the law, also should be given when they ask, because they're not going to, if they're living their life following God, they're not going to be selfish and greedy, and they're not going to be asking for things they don't need. They're only going to be asking for what is necessary. So anyways, I needed water. I asked for water, and they were able to fill up my water bottle for me there. So anyways, towards the end of the service, then it was almost over. They were singing a song. And I thought, the service is going to be over when they're done singing. So I went off to the bathroom. And I was in there for like 20 minutes. I was in there a long time. This is embarrassing, but God has to humble. And this was a plan from the Lord. Lord used this for judgment. So I was in the bathroom a long time. And while this is going on, I find out something is going on. So they are in a rush. So like, as soon as I get in the bathroom, and I'm in there for like 1 minute, then the pastor comes and knocks on the bathroom door. Is like, anyone in there? They're trying to lock everything down and leave. They're trying to lock up the church and leave. Like, so I just got in the bathroom. Like, no one else even went to the bathroom. So, like, you would think at the end of a church service, normally, there's a few people that go to the bathroom, and they have like 15 minutes or so before the church closes. I got in there, and like 1 minute later, then the pastor comes and knocks on the door. Or, I guess they call soldier generals, or whatever they call them. I was like, is anyone in there? I'm like, yeah. I said, my stomach's upset. Oh, I'm sick again. I'm hopefully getting better. So then they are really, the pastor now is really worried. It's like, there's someone in there, they're wanting to leave right now. They have plans. Because, like, this is Sunday morning church. And then they have the free meal Sunday evening at, like, 5:30. And so they probably only have, like, 3 hours to do something that they have planned, is what I'm thinking. So I hear there's a bunch of children, and the children are talking. So there's a pastor, there's a man and a woman. I don't know if they're married. I thought they were married. And they're there, and then I hear there's the group of children. This is like, there's one of the round tables at the Sunday dinners. There's always children sitting there. So here's children that go to that. And the children, I hear them talking, and like some ladies in the bathroom, great. Some ladies in the bathroom, they don't even go in. They don't use the bathroom. And I overhear them talking about they're supposed to go to the YMCA, and they're excited to go to the YMCA with these people. um, with the pastor and um, I think his wife. They're captains, I guess. Um, and they've got this Salvation Army van. They're going to drive them in. Of course, the numbers on the license plate add up to something, I think, a 17. Um, so apparently, I overheard the children say they were excited to go to the YMCA with the captains. But I was in the bathroom for like 20 minutes and I'm trying to hurry. I am trying to hurry. But like I'm on these antibiotics. I've never gotten sick from antibiotics. I haven't taken them for so many years, but I never got sick. But a witch cast a spell on me and God allowed it. So while I was in there, as soon as I get in there, the pastor's like, someone in there, they're trying to go. They're trying to lock the door. And like, how would I know they want to leave right away so they have time to take children to the YMCA before free dinner? How would I know that? This is the first or second time I've been to this church. Maybe the second time. I don't know the rules. But God showed me. So then, and then I get out, and then I do ask for the water, or I have to come out, and I ask first, like, there's no soap in the bathroom, and they have to go in the men's and get a soap. That takes longer. So I finally finish, and then I'm trying to use a soap. There's no soap in the soap dispenser. This is the only time there has been, so this is probably an attack. I'm sorry, I'm not going to leave without washing my hands. So then I come out, I'm like, you got some soap? And then the woman's looking for soap, and then she goes and gets some out of the men's. I'm like, thank you, and I wash my hands. I'm like, oh, can I have the water now? I mentioned the water earlier, but I didn't get it yet. And then she goes and gets the water. Just like they mentioned in the service. If Jesus asked for something, give Jesus what he asked for. Give him what he needs. They said this person gave the donkey to Jesus. But they were trying not to act like they were upset, but they were clearly very upset. And then I asked, are you going to the YMCA? And like, oh no, we were just going to run home and get something to eat before dinner. This was probably a lie. And I said why it's a lie is because at 5:30, it was at 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, they have a free meal. There's a free meal. And now it's probably noon or 12:30. So they actually head back to the church at like 3:30. I think they go back to the church at 3:30 and there's snacks there. So they cook the food at the church. So I don't know, it just seemed like not enough time, because I think they were lying. And the reason I think this was a lie is because while I was in the bathroom, I heard the children say they were excited to go to YMCA. And then when I got out, I'm like, oh, are you guys going to the YMCA? I'm like, oh no, we're just going to go back home and get something to eat before we serve a free meal and the children go there and the children eat. Doesn't make sense, lady. I guess they could be eating lunch. But even if that, I imagine if they're going to eat, they would pick up some fast food on the way to the YMCA. Because that's what I overheard. But then I asked, and then she's like, oh no, we were just going to go home and get some food. But then what's the big rush? That's what it was. If all you have to do is go back home and get snacks for the kids, these are not your children. These are not their children. These are random children that go to the free meals. I don't know if their parents even attend the church services. They might or might not. These are just children. So I think is these are just children, and the parents don't even go to the church. The parents let them go with the pastors for free childcare. They get to be taken to the YMCA. That's what I think. And because I overheard them say this. And if all they needed, like, they were in such a rush to get out the door. Like, I actually, while they were still singing and still having service, I ran to the bathroom because I was trying to hurry up and be out of there before it was too late. And then, like, 1 minute after I get in there, the pastor knocks on the door, like, anyone still in here? Everyone knows to evacuate. Because they got out. So, if that was the case, they would still have time to drive to their house and get some food in 2.5 hours. But there was more to it. They were very upset. They were physically, and I didn't understand at first why they were so upset. And then actually, when I heard the children talking about the YMCA, I was concerned. Oh, I don't want to ruin their plans to go to the YMCA. But I really could not help it. A witch just cast spells on me. I was having a stomach problem, and I thought that was taken care of. I was already late. I was already late to the church because my stomach was upset. And now, while I'm in the service, my stomach's gotten upset again. I'm like, oh no. And so this woman there knew it. The woman there knew it because she was lost. She was going to read a story and couldn't find it and was taking her time. So they made themselves. God did all this. They were attacking me by making the service go longer. The service actually went like 15 minutes longer than it was supposed to. And part of that was an attack on me. They cast a spell on me, so my stomach was upset. Then the woman couldn't find the story she wanted to read, and it took a long time. So then they were singing at the end too. I'm like, okay, I gotta go to the bathroom. I run to the bathroom. I'm sorry, I can't, I'm not leaving. And I'm also going to wash my hands with soap. And I don't care how upset you are. Like, I seriously could not, I could not leave unless I was finished. And so this is embarrassing, but the Lord did this. The Lord did this to shut down what was going on in that church. And now those pastors are leaving. And they just invited me back to their church again. And they want to get a picture. They first mentioned, oh, we can all give money. And they're like, oh, well, let's do a picture instead. I know what this is. Because they know I don't have any money. And I would rather do a picture because it's free. But they want my picture so they can cast a bunch of spells on it. They can send it all over the country and cast spells on it. I'm not dumb. They actually invited me to the church last weekend. And I said, I will go unless the Lord wants me to go somewhere else. Well, guess what? The Lord wanted me to go somewhere else. So I did not go to your church service. Okay, so they were very upset, and I believe the reason that the captains were very upset is because they did not have time to go to the YMCA. The children were happy. They were spoiled. They were getting away with stuff. They were given snacks and toys and games and everything. They were happy is the thing. But that doesn't mean that it was good. So they no longer had enough time to go to the YMCA, but they had plenty of time to go back to their house and get some food, which is what they said they were doing. So I didn't understand why they were so frustrated. But then very quickly I did understand why they were so frustrated. They had big plans. And not only were those big plans canceled, but they were busted. And Lord is rendering judgment. I went home. I ate some ramen. Then I went to the Salvation Army. And they had white noodles. And they had two different ones. One had chicken in the noodles. One had pork in the noodles. Of course. They served... And I think I told them we're not allowed to eat pork then. So before the prayer, they do a prayer before they serve the food. Then the pastor, the one that was in such a rush banging on the women's door, like, is anyone in there? We got to go right now with these children. That pastor now, when he did the prayer before serving the meal, and he mentioned something specific to me to hurt my feelings. He did an attack on me. So basically, most people might not catch on this, but he exposed himself as an enemy with what he said during the prayer, which I am not going to go into. They were serving pork. Somebody there that showed up for the free meal was doing this, while they were sitting, they were doing the devil horn. Maybe they were they were the ones that poisoned the drink. I don't know. I was talking to someone, I wasn't talking to somebody who was just sitting at a table nearby, and they were talking about celebrities being possessed with demons. One of the teenagers that was there was picking their nose. I wrote this down. Surely people noticed this and no one cared. There was a teenager there. She picked her nose and then touched her cell phone and scrolled without washing her hands or wiping it or anything. And the same teenager, when okay, so this is the dinner at the Salvation Army. So there are children, and then there's an older teenager that she's a lot bigger than me, I think, but she's still a teenager, and she's still under 18. But she did attack me, even though she was a minor. She still attacked me and had chosen a side. So this wasn't a huge thing, but there's two things. So before the food was served, I saw her pick her nose and then just touch her phone and scroll it and touch and everything after she picked her nose. And then I had my medicine, I had my antibiotics, and I got my antibiotic out, and I had my food and my drink, and I was going to take, and as I go to take my medicine, she bumps the table. Now, they make it look like an accident, but it's not. And the only time this happened is while I am trying to take the medicine. So, the teenager was complicit. This is the oldest child. The other were much younger. So, somebody with headphones mentioned, okay, then there was two people I recognized from the other soup kitchen. They mentioned an intersection and a parking lot, and then they said the number. So basically they said to go to this place, but they weren't saying it to me. They were sitting a table away, and they said, we're going here, we're going to meet here or something. So they said it right next to me so I could hear. So I wrote it down. And the number had a 77 at the end. So I think maybe that was the address, or the parking lot number ended in a 77. They said what intersection they were going to do something after they left. They said it very loud, very audibly, right next to me. So I thought, okay, I'll stop here on my way home. It was on my way home. So, anyways, one of these people from the other soup kitchen then asked if I can speak. He asked me if I can speak. They poisoned me with a sickness that was making my voice go away. And this wasn't really obvious because I wasn't speaking to him. But this man who went to the other soup kitchen is now at the Salvation Army to get his Sunday dinner. And these people, I didn't even know they know each other. They're from completely different groups, completely different cliques, completely different covens. And he asked me if I can speak. So that means this person way over here knew what this narcissist did way over there. And he knew whatever they gave me, it was not strep throat, but it was something that would make it so I couldn't speak like strep throat. And so I was on the antibiotics, and my voice was weak, but I mustered out, and I said, yes, I can speak. And I mustered, and this probably would have been a spell if I did not respond. So he saw I could speak. Then there was a table with grape juice on it, and I went to get one. And the people sitting around the juice, there was people sitting around the juice and kind of blocking it. So there's a tray with juice, and there's people kind of sitting like on the sides of it to where I could not see. Like they could have done something to it. So I'm trying to say is they were kind of blocking the view to the juice, and they looked like they had evil eyes. So then when they called seconds, then I was going to get a juice because I don't think the other drinks were out. There was just apple juice on this cart. And I went to get one. And I go sit down and I take a drink. And right away I noticed this has to be poisoned. And now they have poisoned this juice. And they're probably sitting around and everyone knows not to drink it. And then they make sure I get it. Well, I could clearly tell this was poisoned. It was very strange. I know what apple juice tastes like, and I think I had one earlier. You know, I can't remember if I just had a glass, but when I went back for seconds, there was a bunch of evil people sitting near the table, and I could see their eyes were evil. And then the taste of it, it was like kind of cold and sour. So it was not the way apple juice is supposed to taste. Okay, 3:30:26. This must have been, I was going to the new soup kitchen. I'll say level 2. The new soup kitchen on the other side of town. There was a pit bull on the bike. So there's a bike rack where I park my bike. Someone has tied a pit bull, like a strong looking one. Someone has tied a pit bull to the bike rack. And so I go in and I have my bike. One of the people that works there sees me and they have a look on their face like, why is the bike in here? I said, there's a pit bull on the bike rack. And then I go put my bike in the back. They look and it's like, somebody's got a dog on the back. Somebody tied a pit bull to the bike rack on purpose so that I could not put my bike. Who knows what their plans were? So were they going to try to steal it? I don't know. But I just brought it inside of this soup kitchen. They have tried to attack me there quite a bit. I talked to an older man. One of the volunteers there kept trying to curse me. He got the coffee. And then like, oh, have more. And then he brought another. He tried to do like 3 curses on me. And they were doing death spells. And he spoke something about a dead bird. So I knew this man at this new soup kitchen was doing death spells on me. And they placed a pit bull on the bike rack. I'm not going to attach my bike to the bike rack while there's a pit bull tied to the bike rack. I don't know what you guys expect. And then they had a prayer before they served the food, and somebody said Canada just banned the Bible. This sounded kind of unbelievable, but you never know. Weird stuff happens in Canada, so I wrote it down. Old man figure. The serial killer, I think, is there. Something about a hospital. This day, I was talking to Sun Hat Man, and I had my coffee and another drink, and I told him that when I covered my drink, like, you don't want to leave your drink uncovered. He said he does not. And I said, it's like you're allowing the witches and warlocks to poison your drink if you don't cover it. So actually, I took some napkins, put them on top of my coffee cup, and walked away. And I said, no, they're blocked and they're not allowed. And actually, I saw the man who gave me the coffee. He was coming near my drink, and I was in line, and I was watching. So I think what happened is before the food was served, they have coffee and they have juice. And I got some of that, and I had like 2 glasses. And then they called the food right away, and the coffee was too hot. I did not have a chance to drink it. They have napkins on the table. And so I told the man that was sitting at the table, you know, a way to block this is you cover the drink. Then they're not allowed to poison it. So then I put napkins on top of my coffee. I drank the juice. And then I walked away and I got in line. And I saw the man that worked there that gave me the coffee. He was kind of lingering and he was standing next to the table. I knew he wanted to poison my coffee. I could just tell. But I had covered it. So he wasn't allowed. They've got silly rules in the Kingdom of Darkness. Just cover your drink. They're not allowed to uncover it. But by leaving it uncovered, you are allowing them to poison your drink. It's nuts. Psalm 118:4, pepperoni, sausage, pizza, candy, egg. Oh, they tried to give me a candy egg. Someone tried to give me the gift, so when I took it, I'd be cursed. They were trying to give me a lot of gifts so I'd be cursed and be killed. Free stuff, shoes. There's people working there like, oh, I think these will fit. Oh, take this, take this. They were trying to do a bunch of curses on me. They gave me a bag, some red shoes. I didn't even like them. I left them, but I already got the curses. I went to, they had a bunch of free stuff. They have like tables set up in a big U, and they're just covered in free stuff. And then there was a section with free bags, and I went to look at. And there was a Bible carrying case. There was a Bible case. And no one else wanted this. And I picked it up and I looked. And when I looked in the pocket, it wasn't even way down. It was like this far in. There was a $10 bill in this Bible case. So somebody put a $10 bill in there and then donated the Bible case so that whoever got it would get $10. But I didn't get it because it was a Bible case. It was actually like this big and it had a handle on it. So it would perfectly fit on my bike handlebars. And then I got it and I just looked in the pocket and there was $10. And like the staff there gets the first dibs. They get the first pick of whatever they want. But yet nobody looked in this because it was a Bible carrying case. Nobody wanted it. So I got it. I was like, thank you, Lord. And I even mentioned this later. This was a blessing from God. It's like they specifically did not check this because it did have a cross on it, which I don't like, but it was a Bible carrying case. So no one even looked at it to make sure there was no money in it. And they normally do. Okay, I got home. I gave some food to the neighbor. I went to the gym. On my way to the gym, the narcissist was in the car. I saw them. I think they waved to me and said hello, and I said hello back. They just saw me biking. They were watching me and spying on me, and it was letting me know maybe I'm supposed to go to the soup kitchen again today, because the narcissist works at the soup kitchen. So something about happy birthday, soup kitchen, pizza, a homeless man, toes with 2 puppies. Oh, okay. So there's a new enemy waiting. So I thought I stopped going to the soup kitchen for a while. My father sent me money. I thought I'm supposed to not go to the soup kitchen because my father sent me money. But then I'm going to the gym, and on my way, the narcissist's car is stopped. The car is stopped, and they're sitting in the car. And when I go by, the windows were down. They're like, "Hello, Jennifer." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm supposed to go to the soup kitchen? Is this a sign from God? I'm supposed to go to the soup kitchen." So then I go, even though I wasn't going to. I was going to use the $100 from my father. But no, now I have to go to the soup kitchen. And there's a new enemy there. So they've got a crazy man. And they brought him in. I want to say, so the new level 2 soup kitchen I'm going into. Apparently this man said he used to go to this soup kitchen. Now he's come to the other soup kitchen. And so this was supposed to be, they're supposed to bring in somebody that would murder. Because he clearly actually said something that he would kill. So they brought a murderer who's a little nuts. They brought him to the soup kitchen. This was the new attack for me today. But anyways, when I walk out the soup kitchen, there's just a man sitting there, and he's homeless. And he used to be at the other soup kitchen, but somebody must have dropped him off at this soup kitchen. And remember that this dog adoption place just got 22 puppies on this road that ends in 17. Well, this homeless man, he's sitting outside, and he's clipping his toenails. He's just clipping his toenails outside the soup kitchen, and he's acting a little bit like he's crazy. And he's got 2 puppies. He's got 2 puppies. And then I walk up to him, I talk to him a bit, and I pet the puppy, and he likes these puppies. I know he does like these puppies, but, and they're cute. But he's just living outside of the soup kitchen with his puppies. And he's clipping his toenails up. But they sent him there, and he said, somebody tried to steal my dog. They said, or somebody was looking at my dog, or said that they would offer me $3,000 for this dog or something. So he's trying to tempt me with the dog. And then he said, if somebody took my dog, I would murder them. Or something. This is what he said. So then I realized, okay, so they brought a killer here. He just clearly said, if someone takes his dogs, they would murder them. And they know that I like dogs. So then this is a trap. So they sent somebody that is mentally unstable, that would kill someone that messed with their dogs. So that if he is told that I stole his dogs, or he thinks I did something to the dogs, then he might try to kill me. So this was very, I understood what this attack was. But then I walk up to him and I talk to him a little bit, and we're getting along. And actually this man, I saw him several times after that, and I'm seeing real improvements in him. And people, strangers, women he don't know, are coming up to him, and they're talking to him, and they like him because he has puppies. So I think during that time, he was doing better. But I did see him a couple days ago. So fast forward a few months, I didn't see any puppies, and he looked ashamed. So the puppies were gone. This is sad. But I saw him at the Easter meal, and he had a baby stroller. He had a double baby stroller with his puppies in it. He was telling them to be good, stop. He's trying to punish the puppies, not too much, but it's funny because he's saying stuff to them that you probably shouldn't. but they're puppies. So it's funny. But they're not being hurt or anything. So he's like trying to punish the puppies, but he doesn't understand, like, but he's not hurting them or anything. He can tell he still loves these puppies. And he's got a baby. Now he has got a baby stroller and has put the puppies in him. Women are coming up to him to pet the puppies and talk to him. So he is actually improving, and he doesn't seem crazy anymore now. And I see him and we smile at him. He seems like a good guy now. But then fast forward, he's homeless again and the puppies are gone. So what I think is I call him Puppy Man. They sent him to be mentally unstable and possibly kill me if I do so, because they know I like dogs. But it didn't work. And instead, I think it helped Puppy Man, because he was doing a lot better. I think it helped him instead. It's sad. I don't want to see him lose his puppies. But I think he didn't necessarily want the puppy. Like, he said he got him because his daughter or something. He made up some reason. But I think they gave him the puppies and they sent him. They sent him to the soup kitchen to get me, and they know I like puppies. So this was the trap. But I did pet him a little bit, and I gave him some tips on the puppies, and I left. So it was clear. And I told him I got dogs and stuff. And I was giving him some advice on how to take care of the puppies. Not too much. But, so I think, like, it was clear that I wasn't going to steal his puppies. So, whatever plan they had did not work. Let's see what. Just give me a minute here. Volunteer to give me shoes and candy. Just looking out. Oh, and then now they sent another counterfeit. This is somebody that does not like me at all. A counterfeit does not like me at all. This is an enemy from the devil. This time, this man I've seen several times, and he is friends with MK Ultra Man. He has never talked to me, maybe one sentence. I mean, he had no interest. Now he is trying to hit on me, and it's awkward, because I can tell he doesn't mean it, and it's a lie. So now he's trying to give me shoes. He's like, I got some candy. I'm just trying to be helpful. I'm just trying to help out. And he's like, I'm looking out for you, babe. I'm just looking out for you, babe. But he's saying it is so fake. It is so fake. Not genuine. He does not mean a single bit of this. It's clearly a trick. But also, he doesn't like me at all. It's like, I don't understand why these people don't like me. Because, I mean, I understand that we all have different types, but I think I'm a pretty good catch, actually. I mean, I think I'm okay, you know. A lot of people are on drugs. A lot of people are out of their mind. A lot of people are arrogant or rude. So, I mean, I think I'm a pretty good catch, is what I'm going to say. And yet, like, none of these counterfeits actually like me. Like, none of them are actually interested, which I actually, like, I would think maybe they would be a little interested in me. No, they keep coming and it's all fake, and they all just hate me. They just all hate me. And then they try to, it's like, oh, I got some shoes, and like, actually, let me show them to you today. Brings the shoes out, and I'm like, actually, these are too light colored. My dogs would ruin them. You give them to somebody else. These like a brand new pair of shoes. Just give it to somebody else. It's like, my shoes are covered in mud. These are like light pink. Like, those wouldn't last 5 minutes in my house without being destroyed. And then he tried to give me some candy after that, and I'm like, oh no. And then he's like, I'm just looking out for you, babe. Like, he's actually kind of worried that he's being caught now. That he's saying, I'm looking out for you, babe, and comes out and talks to me at the bike rack, too. Like, he's trying to hit on me. And I'm just in it. But he doesn't mean any of it. And it's so obvious. He doesn't like me one bit. It's almost as obvious as the narcissist. But I think the narcissist is tortured to try to say this, like, oh, hi, how are you doing? Like this. This man is not that bad. But he's like, it's almost like, it's the way he was hitting on me is almost like he was a straight man trying to hit on another man. Like, that is the level of attraction that he had for, it's kind of funny, I just have to say. But it's probably because I have the Holy Spirit, and that just completely makes me disgusting to the witches and warlocks. But, oh, he said he was single, talking to me. Somebody gave me something and I got a curse. I forget what. And then they have a table with some free clothes. and I was going through it, and then somebody put a pad that had been urinated on in there, and I picked it up, and I got urine on my hands. They just did this to me again too the other day. But actually, this is a way God does. God allows this to use up a curse. So if they're casting death curses on me, and they want to kill me, then God will just give me something bad to get rid of the curse so they can't kill me. So, like, I went to the free table, and then there's a box. And then as I dig through, and then I realize I have just touched something, and it is a pad. Like a woman's pad, but somebody just peed in it. Somebody put on a pad, peed in the pad, took it off, and put it in the clothing donations. And then I went, and I was looking through the clothes, and I touched it. And it's like, then I had to go wash my hands, and I gotta wash, and I said, and I had it in my hand, and then I walked past this man who's hitting on me, and then it's clear. Now, whatever curse they had done to me is used up because there was something disgusting, and I have to throw it away and wash my hands. So now the curse is used up. Now they'll have to do something to curse me again. God does this a lot. They curse me, and they plan to kill me, but then just something annoying happens. Like, I went and washed my hands with soap. I didn't like to have to do that, but I imagine the person that put on the pad and peed on it and took it off, like, they had to do a lot more work than just washing their hands. So once again, the kingdom of darkness has to do a lot more to try to get me. Like, it's not worth it. And I had all these curses from earlier, from all the shoes and bags and things they gave me at the other soup kitchen. So I think that's what this is. They were just wanting to get, and I did not take the candies. But then they're like, oh, try, these shoes would look good, and here's the bag. Take this. And so then that curse was used up. And then I also had a chip I think a chip fell off of my plate, and that was another curse. Like, this is ridiculous. Oh, I went to the library, and Headphone Man was talking to me. This is the man. So Headphone Man, this is what you might notice with schizophrenics, is the demons are talking to him. The voice is in his head. This man, actually, it is demons talking to him, because he was the one doing the witchcraft spells during the free chicken meal when they were giving out clothes. It said free coats, free clothes, and free meal. And so he was sitting down the entire time, actively doing witchcraft. And he has his headphones all the time because his demons are talking to him. So now this man was at the I went to the library, and he was there. So I stopped at the library. Oh, I think it's because there was another Bible study or something. But I had an hour before it started. So then I thought I'd just go to the library. And then this man is outside. And then he said he was talking to someone else. And he says something about the FBI. So Headphone Man, who is a warlock that casts spells on me and talks to demons, was outside of... So I never really go to the library, but I had an hour to kill before a Bible study. He's outside talking to someone else about the FBI, probably related to me and what's going on. And then I just pull up on my bike and I hear this. I'm like, the FBI? And he's like, oh, shoot. He didn't expect me to overhear. And he's like, oh, and then he runs away. So now I've heard whatever is going on, the FBI is involved. Now the way he said it is like the FBI was on their side and was evil. So it didn't, the way he said it, it wasn't like he was getting caught, though. It wasn't like they were getting caught. He mentioned, the way he said it, it was like the FBI was on his side. But I just overheard him say something about the feds. And they're like, well, what about the FBI? And then he's like, oh, he was surprised I was there. And he ran away. Okay, oh my gosh. What is going on here? I need a minute to find out where I was. I think I'm on this page. Yeah. Oh, when I was at the soup kitchen, I knew I had to go to this Bible study. I wasn't necessarily wanting to go. So it's like God has me busy all day. I have a full-time job. Soup kitchen, church, soup kitchen, Bible studies, life recovery meetings. This adds up to the time a full-time job would be. And of course, I don't have any money and I don't have food, so I have to go to these groups to eat, and I have to go to the soup kitchen to eat. So that's how the Lord tells me where to go by where the food is and by where the washing machines are. And then these people attack me and they get karma, they get judgment. So while I was at the soup kitchen, the homeless man there, who I now know was dating the witch who tried to kill me and puts toilet water in food, he mentioned this Bible study group that was tonight. So then I knew that was my confirmation. I have to go to Bible study. So then I went to the library to kill some time before it started. And this video is 2 hours long, so I'm going to cut this off here.